This video is about how to draw a model of an atom when you're not given a ton of information. A lot of people freak out about these questions, and I understand that, but the testing strategy that you need to use is to go ahead and look for the things that you do know or the things that you can easily find out. So in order to draw a model of an atom, we need to know how many protons we have, how many neutrons we have, and how many electrons we have. So the nice thing about protons is that they are always consistent. Your protons aren't going to just randomly change. They're going to be the same for an atom regardless of what charge it has or how heavy it is. Sorry, my dog just walked in. So for example, in this problem where it asks about 8Be2+, I know that we're talking about beryllium. So I can go to the periodic table that I'm always going to have access to, and I can see that beryllium has a 4 for its protons. So I can go ahead and automatically know that because it's beryllium, I'm going to have 4 protons that I need to draw. Okay? Now, there's not much else that the periodic table is going to be helpful for when it gives me the mass already, so I don't really need the periodic table anymore here. But that would be where I would start. Go find out how many protons there are, because if you know who it is, you know what number of protons it's going to be. The next thing I can find is neutrons. If you recall, in an atomic model, we have that inner section that's called our nucleus. It contains our protons and our neutrons, the heavy guys. So this number, this 8 right here, this tells us our mass. It tells us how heavy it is that in the middle right there. So I can say that that mass equals my protons plus my neutrons. I already know how many protons I have. Because it's beryllium, I know that it's 4 protons. And now I know that however many neutrons I have has to end up equaling with the protons up to 8. So what I can do is I can subtract my protons from my mass to find that in this specific atom that I'm going to draw, I'm going to have 4 neutrons. Okay, people struggle the most with electrons, and I get it because it's kind of confusing when you're looking at things negative versus positive. So the first thing I would tell you, if it is a neutral atom that you're being asked to draw, that's light work. You're literally going to do the same number as the protons. But if it is a charged molecule, if it's an ion, like is shown in this problem, see how it's 2+ up there? I'm going to have to do a little bit of math. If you recall from my previous video, the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons minus our charge. So in this case, the number of electrons would equal 4 protons minus that plus 2 charge, which means that the number of electrons I'd have in this specific molecule would be 2 electrons. Now I can go ahead and actually do my problem. So it's kind of a lot of legwork right there, but once you get that done, it's light work. Let's assume that protons are like these guys with the X's. We're going to draw 4 in the center. I'll do maybe a blue for my neutrons. I'll just make those plain circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my nucleus. That's the center. And then finally, I'm going to do 2 electrons just orbiting around. And maybe I would do something like that to make it look better, but I don't really care right now. But that would be full credit for me if I was grading it. Okay, so look at the periodic table to figure out how many protons there are, because you always know, if you know the name of the element, you know how many protons there are. Then look at your mass number, subtract your protons from that to get your neutrons. And then finally, your electrons are going to be the number of protons minus the charge.